Ah, the sword dance. Curved swords has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a straight sword dance by Paul Masson, inspired by that same curved sword excellence. Its Ash of War is put on the weapon, and like the best Ashes of War, it's vintage dated. I don't know how to start this video. Hi, it's Saint Riot, and I like sword dance on straight swords. And I also like spinning slash, but I switch between them depending on the build I'm using. Why do I like sword dance on straight swords? Because it true combos if it breaks poise, and it does like 130 poise damage, so it's probably going to break poise. And then it sort of pauses the fight. It sort of stops the fight for a second, and you have a moment to decide. You know, it turns into a guessing game. Will your opponent try and roll? Will your opponent try and attack? And I use sword dance, and I never saw anyone use the follow-up attack on sword dance, except for new players who just would, just mash the button. And so I just kind of assumed probably not that good. So the other day I was doing some invasions, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it out. And it turns out that the sword dance follow-up attack is better than I thought it was. It does have short range, but there are a lot of situations where something having short range is not necessarily a bad thing. And it's got more range than it looks like it has. It is short, but it has more than it looks like. It's very good at roll catching, jump catching, and it's very good at hitting somebody who comes out of stun by attacking. And it has to, I assume, especially if you're using Alexander's Shard, it has to do more damage than any other follow-up attack in a straight sword's arsenal. I would assume. I don't know that for sure, but I would assume. So, Spinning Slash has like almost 300 poise damage on a straight sword, 290 I think. That's going to break everyone's posture. It's like impossible to get through that. And at meta level, my straight sword, I keep Spinning Slash on it, and I really like it because it's essentially, a way to break poise of people who are wearing bull goats or veterans, and you need that. But at lower level, all of these invasions you're seeing here are at 77, level 77, and I've got 40 strength. All my weapons are fire infused. There's a build video for this build here on the channel if you want to dig around and find it. But point being, sword dance does less poise damage, and you're going to see that. I'm going to hit this fella with the dual colossal swords, and I'm not going to break his hyper armor. It's not his poise that's the problem, it's the hyper armor on the weapon. So he's going to swing, and I go for sword dance, and it doesn't break his hyper armor. Now, if I had connected with both hits, maybe it would have broken his hyper armor. If he had only gotten one swing out, but I'm not sure how it works with multiple swings. I'm not sure how hyper armor resets. I'm basically saying a bunch of nerd stuff that doesn't really matter. But allow me to just get back down into cultivating the vibe. So, the vibe is that I like fights that have a moment to breathe and to exist, because in those fights that have a minute to go on, that's where you get your cool clips at. That's where you get your cool wins. That's where you get your crushing defeats. And I like those. And so, being able to think after hitting sword dance and then try and turn the game into, you have a little guessing game. What's going to happen next? Who should I aim for? If I go for that follow-up L2, can I hit somebody? If I time it as a roll catch? Oh, yeah, 8. So anyway, I love sword dance. I use it a lot, and it's one of those things people ask about, why I use sword dance. You could use square off or whatever the hell you wanted to use on a straight sword. It just, what do you like? And I like sword dance. Square off, I feel like, if you hit somebody with square off, it's probably going to do like 800, 900 damage, and that should be it, right? You either at this point chase them down and finish them off, or that killed them. You had already hit them before, right? And with sword dance, it's less about killing your opponent with it, and more about buying yourself a second to see what happens next. And that's just fun to me, and so that's why I do it. That's why I like sword dance. That's the video. Thanks for watching it. Until next time, later, y'all.